All right, bows and bow ties. So, look, I'm trying to see how I'm going to do this on TikTok. And I don't know how to get TikTok to see my screen here because I'm also broadcasting live on YouTube. But this is what, well, so I'm going to get into what we're talking about today. I'm going to talk about the reasons why Beyonce's perfect world is crumbling. Okay. So, let me bring up my situation here. Um, okay. How do I do this? What's going on? Come on, get in there. What? Okay, okay, I'm getting it together. We're going to talk about why her perfect world is crumbling. I've talked about this type of thing before. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Belle. I don't have a whole lot of time today because I do need to run my children to their games. We've got two lacrosse games. One of them's for the semifinals. One is a consolation game on another team, and I got two AAU basketball games today. So basically, I'm doing a lot of parenting. So let me get on into it. All right. Um, for those of you who are in TikTok land, I am looking at my computer and I have a few slides here. So I'm broadcasting this on YouTube, I think Twitter and Facebook. So look, I'm going to get into it. There's a couple things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about this tour. I'm going to talk about the record label, or the fact that there's a lot of failure behind that. I'm going to talk about her clothing line. On another slide I added at the last second, I was talking about her perfume stuff, and I'm going to talk about her relationships. Okay, so what time is it? It is 11:36. I have no idea what any of these things mean in TikTok land. So whatever you guys are pushing, this is only like the third or fourth time I've gone live on TikTok, by the way. So, all right, let me go to this next slide. First, I'm just going to say, I don't know why this slide looks like this. I always like to throw a gratuitous one of myself. I just want you to know that I am an expert on being myself. All right, so let's get on into the next one. All right, so first I'm going to talk about this tour. All right, so you guys know that Beyonce started her Renaissance tour or whatever it is, and so this is why I think her tour is just a situation. Turn off invites for this live. I don't know what this one. He wants to join live. Let me accept for a second. Hi there. Hi.
Not sure. Thank you for the double taps. I can't see you, brother.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but okay, I just let somebody join my TikTok live, so hopefully this isn't going to be a catastrophe. If it is, I'll just go ahead and just.
Nah, it only happens one time. You good, love.
All right, so look, I just want to talk about this tour real quick. Number one, so Beyonce started her tour out in, I believe it was in London, somewhere in Europe. And so everyone is kind of like dragging her. If you go to Twitter, there's a lot of dragging her for. I'm going to have to mute this because this is too loud. How do I do this? Oh, he left. Perfect. Okay. So she started her tour. She was getting into, everybody was getting into, like, I guess her current crop of music, which is the Renaissance music or whatever it is. And so right now she's on a struggle bus because I guess she's recovering from foot surgery, allegedly some sort of foot or ankle or some sort of surgery. Now look, this is the deal. I don't expect Beyonce to hippity hop all over the stage like she used to when she was in her 20s and her 30s. This woman is closer to my age. I'm 46. Let me bring it right here for a second. Bring it so you guys can see me big. But this is the thing. The thing with Beyonce is, I think part of the reason why you're starting to see like this whole mystique or mysticism around Beyonce start to crumble. Well, I'm a God-fearing woman anyway. And so I think that all those things that are done in the dark start to come to light. I think right now, believe it or not, which is going to make a whole bunch of people want to click out of this, but I just like to just speak the truth. I think part of the problem with Beyonce right now is that she's lauding and applauding the LGBTQ community. So this is what I would say: you hate the sin, not the sinner, right? Because I feel like people are still God's people. However, what you don't do is co-sign bad behavior. You don't laud and applaud a lifestyle that is not in line with what you say you are. So Beyonce likes to say that she is a Christian. So I'm like, you can't sit there and say you are a Christian and turn around and want to pay homage to the LGBT community, whether they have contributed certain things or not. So you hate the sin, not the sinner. What you don't do is uplift certain things. It's kind of like whether you are a white supremacist or whatever it is, right? You don't sit there and uplift a group of people who say disparaging things or do disparaging things or want to harm people, right? And that's for any community. So even if they did invent something great, I'm just speaking off the top of my head, you don't do these things. And I think when you say these things and it's totally not in line with what God has, you'll start to see certain things happen. So I saw something on Twitter. Let me see if I can share this for a second. I want to, for those of you who are in TikTok land, you're just going to have to bear with me because I am a whole situation. Trying to figure out how do I do this. I'm going to present. Share my screen. I want to share this one tab here. Share. Okay, can you guys see this here? Now look at this. Look at this, Beyonce. So here's what I'm showing something on Twitter where someone's going around and expressing hatred for this. Look at these things that she's not moving. She's known to do this and actually doing everything. And right now she's doing it to stay hot now. I don't know what this is. All right. Let me go ahead and pause this. Let me stop sharing that. All right. How do I stop this? Stop. All right. So back to my screen here. So anyway, so I think part of the reason why things are crumbling for her is because she is sitting here promoting something that is not in line with God. And so look, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm gonna just let you know right now. I am not interested in just putting out things that's going to make people feel good for clicks and views. As far as like, you know how a lot of people know how to trigger people. There's a reason why you have the black manosphere and the fake womanosphere or whatever it is, right? They know how to say certain things that will trigger people. They know how to put out content that will get people triggered. I think that most of the black content creators out here in these streets are basically putting out content that's basically more like a podcast manifesto. Okay. So I'm just calling a thing a thing. So I'm never going to be like this large content creator because I'm not doing this for a whole bunch of clicks and views, right? I'm just speaking to my opinion. This is what my thoughts are. I'm not interested in trying to figure out the best way. I mean, of course, I would love to be amazing in every way because I always am. But my point is when I put out a video it's just because this is what I want to do. I'm not going to sit here and chase after pop news, but I always like to comment on Beyonce because she's such a phenomenon. All right, let's get back to it. Part of the things that I think is going on with Beyonce right now is because she's done so much. Let me put that here. She's done so much, and I believe that much of what has been done in the dark will come to light. It is what it is. Okay. So I just call a thing a thing. And so now I think that mysticism around Beyonce is starting to crumble. And if you look at it from a Christian standpoint, God has a way of removing idols. And right now, I feel like the community, I would say the culture at large, has elevated her to more of a demigod. And that's the reason why people are out there giving up all their little bit of money, their tiny little paychecks to go out there and go see her. They will publicly give up their money and not pay their rent. And then they say things like, well, you don't know what she's doing in private. I'm like, but she's publicly taking your money. She can publicly take your money, but she doesn't tell you what she does in private to help people. I'm just calling a thing a thing. Look, y'all don't have to like it. You don't have to like it, but that's just where I'm at with it. Okay, let's move on to my next slide here. So anyway, I had this, you probably saw what was coming up on. For those of you out there in TikTok land, you can go check me out on YouTube. I am a Bo, always similar to my, what do you call it? My handle in TikTok land. So if you're on YouTube, I am a Bo, always, or just look for Black Opinionated Woman. So basically I have this thumbnail. It just says crumbling idol. So you got all these people. I presume they're men. I think they look like men. I don't know if they're men or if they're trans women or if they're men in drag. I don't even know what this is, but you've got what I presume are men dressed like women, unless they're trans men. I can't figure it out. Or trans women. I don't know what it is. and they look like they're looking up at her as if they hold her in such high regard, like they revere her, like very sycophantish. Um, yeah, so anyway, you got all these people that are like looking up to her as if she's some sort of demigod. Also, what I will say, like I said in other videos, she, because her voice is soothing and entertaining and melodic, and she does have a good voice, she reminds me more of a siren versus a mermaid. And I know those are fictional characters, but what I am saying is, because like a siren's voice is soothing. If you look at old Greek mythology, I believe it's Greek mythology, a siren will sing you into your death. Okay, so the siren was like the antithesis to a mermaid. But anyway, I think she's a crumbling idol. So let's go ahead and move on. So anyway, let's talk about her record label and the failed artist. Now, I'm not going to deep dive into this, but everything it seems like that's surrounding Beyonce right now is starting to crumble. So she has the Parkwood Entertainment, that is her record label, where she had several artists signed. Most notably will be Chloe and Halle. Haley, they say Halle, but I think it's Haley Bailey. Anyway, she had a couple of other artists, Ingrid, I can't remember her last name, and then you had Sophie Bean. Their careers have never come to fruition, never. And then of course you have Chloe and Halle Bailey, um, talented women, beautiful, talented women. But if you look at what's going on with right now, because I think Chloe Bailey, who's become a solo artist, I think she's just caught up in the whole Hollywood thing right now. She's kind of like lost, right? She's trying to be over sexualized, trying to align herself with all these bad boys, and I think she thinks that the more explicit she is, the more she will garner like like fame. Well, what she's done is she's just gone out of her way and became overly sexualized. And of course, Beyonce is not going to sit there and promote someone over herself on her own label, right? So I'm like, if it's different if Beyonce was no longer in the game as far as being an artist, if she was just behind the scenes or whatever, but she's still an active artist. So she's not going to promote someone over her. But Chloe, there's so many things I want to speak to with Chloe, but this isn't about Chloe Bailey, so we're not going to go down that road. But this is just another thing of Beyonce's that's starting to crumble. This failed record label. It's almost like a vanity label. It's more just so that she can protect herself and under the guises of having, like, as you should, like you should have a business for yourself. It's primarily, I think, a label for herself, or basically like a vanity label, if you ask me, because I don't think it's a real label for young women, if they, or any sort of artist, to come and be successful under, especially someone like Chloe Bailey. There's no way, as an active artist, that she's going to promote her over herself. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to move past this because, like I said, these are the things that another thing that Beyonce has failed at. Like I said, her tour just seems to be lackluster. I think it's primarily because of the whole hoofing it up thing with her foot. So she can't do all that shaking her behind thing that she's always doing, and the same dances that she does in every video on every tour. I mean, she is talented though, don't get me wrong. So, I think God has a way of forcing you to sit down. It's like, if you're doing things that are not in line with God, he has a way of taking away gifts. Okay. Getting back to that, I I don't know how to do this, guys. I'm just not I'm not a TikToker. But anyway, that's what's going on with that. God has a way of saying, you know what, since you're not using your gifts that are in line with me, and you're telling me you're a Christian, but yet you're not, God has a way of removing gifts. Now, I'm just saying, that's just me. So you got the tour, she's got her peg leg going on, allegedly. Let me go throw a banner up here just in case. Allegedly, with the peg leg or surgery, whatever it is. That's why she can't dance. She can't twerk and throw her body around, right? She can't. And I think the way she's going right now, because she's got these gifts that she claims that come from God. And I know they come from God, but that she's not using it to in support of God. So, you start to lose the ability to use your gifts. I'm just going to think a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't sing anymore. But anyway, like I said, the thing that the next thing that I said of her empire that's falling is, like I said, Parkwood. Nobody is successful out of Parkwood except for maybe her. Chloe, no. Chloe and Haley, they're not under this label. They're not. Sophie Bean, I've never heard the girl put anything out. Ingrid, I think she was supposed to be a rapper. None of these artists are like doing amazing unless they're going to go on their own. Let's move on to next. The failed clothing line. So actually, she was associated with a couple of clothing lines. I'm not sure if you remember the House of Darion. I'm not really quite sure why that one went out of business. I don't really care because I never bought anything from there. And the second was Ivy Park, that was associated with Adidas, as they say in Europe. We say Adidas here in the United States. But anyway, so basically, Adidas was like, look, every year your stuff is just bombing out. So, like, why should we continue to? I mean, they say that they mutually parted ways, right? But I mean, like, it was like every year, like, she was just like, and they were paying her like 20 mil. And look, at one point, I think they were projecting like 250 million, and I think she brought in like maybe 250 cents. Now I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but the point I'm making is like she wasn't bringing in that money. And one of the things I read somewhere, I think it was on The Root, because you know there's several articles out there. You got Forbes and Fortune and The Root and some other things. If you can look it up for yourself, it's out there. I believe it was The Root. When I was reading on The Root, they were basically saying like Beyonce thinks like she's like this businesswoman or something along those lines. Now I'm paraphrasing, but they're like she really didn't understand her brand. See, her brand was sex appeal, and she's trying to sell athleisure and stuff like that, but her brand is sex appeal. So, and they brought up a good point. That's why you see like athletes sell sneakers and chefs sell cookware. But if you look at what's going on here, beautiful like little bodysuit, cute little bodysuit, but it's like you're selling sex appeal, but yet you want to sell athleisure. I don't like nothing about Beyonce's athleisure. Can you imagine her really running? Look, if you look at her body doesn't even look athletic. I'm just saying. Look, I'm out of shape, and I look a little bit more athletic, and I'm looking a little situational right now. But I mean, I look more athletic. I got a little bit of a muffin right now going on, right? Can y'all see this? This looks worse on YouTube than it does in on YouTube. I look like a Teletubby, but in here I look at. Can you see the difference here? YouTube can't. Can you see? I'm not sure if you. I can't even get back far enough. I have on some leggings, and I got to get rid of this. Right? Can you see that? Look, when you look at Beyonce in these pictures, Beyonce doesn't even look athletic in those pictures. Even though I was looking like a full-on Teletubby on YouTube, the way because I'm so freaking close to the camera, it looks like I'm large and in charge. I'm not even that big, but kind of, but not really. A little bit of Teletubby. The point I'm getting at is her brand is sex appeal, but she's trying to sell athleisure. So basically, all the things that she was doing just really didn't align with her brand. And so I think right now she's trying to collaborate with Balmain. I think she has a couture line that's out or coming out. So I get it. So good for her. But like I said, everything she seems to touch right now seems to be crumbling. Okay. Like I said, her tour, it sounds like it's just a hot mess right now. It does. What was I saying before? The tour bombing out. Her record label bombed out. Look, her clothing line bombed out. Two clothing lines, one with her mom, and now Adidas Ivy Park bombed out. So she's coming out with a third line, collaborating with Balmain. We'll see how that works out. I mean, hopefully she understands her brand. Let's move on to the next thing. There was this fragrance that she had out. I think she still has other ones out, but she came out with Wishing on a Star. It was to promote, no, I'm sorry. It was True Star. Originally, it was to promote Wishing on a Star. I think they only had like one or two runs of it, and then they were like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and replace this with Tommy Girl. So it was supposed to help promote Tommy Hilfiger. But I'm telling you right now, when you have a mega star like that, trust me, if you have a megastar that can sell perfume, you're going to have a long run. You're going to put like your J-Lo's and Ariana Grande or whatever, all these other people out there. She had like one or two runs of that. And then they're like, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and replace this with Tommy Girl. So she has others out there. I think it's like Heat and something else. But I mean, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm like, you're trying to break into all these mega industries like athleisure and perfume and stuff like that, but she doesn't have any what do you call it, longevity. She can't stay. So this perfect world of Beyonce's, I'm telling you, you're starting to see that it's starting to crumble. It's like everything she's touching is failing. And like I said, God has a way of handling these idols. I said what I said. Moving on to the next thing, we're going to talk about this relationship. I mean, we know that look, she's trying to paint this picture of being this happy family. I'm like, I'm not buying it. Okay. You know, all the stuff going on out there with Jay-Z, he's just sticking and moving any and everything. I don't know what he's doing right now, but like I said, I have my statement up there. Everything says allegedly. The thing with her relationship is it's a hot mess. You're not going to convince me that you're the super hot family, super healthy, normal family when you're constantly bringing your oldest daughter up there on stage and in this industry. And we know that industry is treacherous. It's a treacherous industry. I actually feel bad for Blue Ivy. I would want to protect my daughter instead of constantly like having her at these concerts where she's grinding and she's got the LGBT community out there just popping and locking and that's not something I would want to teach my child. Because the fact of the matter is, and I know people are going to get mad, but when you have people who are engaged in these acts that in a lifestyle that is contrary to what God calls for, and you're constantly saying I'm a Christian, I'm like, you can love people. You can love people, but you don't promote the lifestyle, the behavior. And people don't like for me to say that. They don't want to hear me say that because when you say it out loud, that means I automatically alienate myself, and I'm willing to do that. But it's not right. You can't speak out. You can't say one thing and speak out your neck. And we all fall short. But she's actively promoting it. And now she's got her daughter around all of this crazy. We got an industry full of predators and people who are confused about who they are. And today they're man, today they're not. The next day they're binary or non-binary. And I can't even tell if somebody is a trans person or somebody's a drag queen. And I don't even know what the difference is at this point because it all is starting to blend together. We've added all these letters. I think the LGBT community needs to add in the letter H. Since you could be non-binary and trans, you could be everything. Add in the H. Add in the H for heterosexual, or add an S for straight, or whatever it is. Everybody is everything. You might as well go ahead and add in these letters too. So now let me go ahead and move back into this whole jacked up infidelity situation. Like I said, you got the whole Jay-Z situation and how he just likes to just be on everything, and you know what I mean. So yeah, you can't convince me that she has this great perfect life. That's why everything's crumbling. That's why you see all the cracks in her relationship. That's why she's trying to keep everything so close hold. Everything. Let's move on to this next slide. I'm almost done. And then of course you have the new thing. You've got what is his name? Rymir Shatterweight or Statterweight. I cannot remember how to pronounce his name. You're going to have to forgive me. You can go ahead and do a simple Google search. So you for many of you, I'm sure you're aware right now, you have several reporting outlets. I think it was like Page Six and the Daily Mail, etc. So you got this Rymir Shatterweight or Staterweight or whatever his name is. He's about 30 years old. He's reporting that Jay-Z is his dad. And basically the hubbub around all of that stuff is it's kind of like we don't want it to really get out that if that's so look, Jay-Z has been running like, you know, there's so many people who accuse him of being their father or whatever, and you never hear anything about it. I don't know if he's silencing people. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that, you know, it's interesting how a lot of these people just suddenly get quiet. I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't have any inside information on that. What I will say is I know the concern surrounding all this stuff is they don't want him taking a blood test or a DNA test to find out if this is his son, because this once again shatters that perfect image for Beyonce and her family. And then, you know, there's some concerns and questions surrounding the age of these women at the time when, you know, a lot of these women that have purported to have had relations with him, well, you know, were they underage? Because if so, then this turns into a whole other type of conversation. This is a whole other conversation. So anyway, right now, this man to the right is like, that's my daddy. So I don't know. But like I said, everything that Beyonce is trying to keep so close hold, and I can understand because you want a level of privacy, but she's trying to paint this narrative or trying to create this narrative of her being like mystical and untouchable, and she's human. So anyway, I just want to say I got a whole lot of nerve talking about this stuff. That's pretty much it. I mean, this is not that deep, but I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. You take that off and remove that. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So look, I don't know if you like the kind of content I'm putting out there, but if you do, this is a great opportunity for you to go in there and show me by leaving a comment. If you're out here in YouTube land, leave a comment I actually do respond to comments. Sometimes not timely because I do have a life. My whole life does not revolve around YouTube. But leave a comment. You're generally not going to see me come up here and doing these long lives. Why? Because I really do have a life outside of here. This is not my job by trade. I have a whole separate career. I have 4 children and a diva cat to attend to and a husband. And what I'm saying is, I just don't have the cycles to be on here for 7 hours like some of y'all. Like, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to say never ever, but I know I just don't have those cycles today. But if you like the kind of content that I'm putting out there, then it would be great if you would go ahead and leave that thumbs up. But I do like to hear what your thoughts are. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Um, I never know what's going on with this TikTok stuff. But anyway, all right. So I got to get out of here because I got to get on the road. My son has a double header today, and there's a lot going on. All right, bows and bow ties. Until next time. Glad I was able to get out here in the live because I usually run them from my car now. All right. Have a good one.